For a candidate in a leadership race not to participate in the debate is like a fish who says he doesn't want to swim in the ocean.
Scott Aitchison, Roman Baber, and Jean Charest were in attendance, while Leslyn Lewis and the perceived frontrunner Pierre Poilievre sat out. Now, they will both face a $50,000 fine for skipping the debate. The candidates who were on stage kept most of their attacks aimed squarely on the federal Liberals, on everything from airports to climate change to reconciliation. And for more on all of this, let's bring in senior political correspondent for CTV News Channel, Mike Couteur. Along with those topics, Mike, they did focus on who wasn't there. Tell us a bit more about what they had to say about Poilievre and Ms. Lewis skipping the debate.
Yeah, and you just heard there from Jean Charest sort of making that reference, not naming Poilievre and Lewis by name, but certainly talking about how if you want to lead this party, you have to show up for the party and give them the respect that they deserve, the members that respect. And that was something that Charest had said going into the debate, saying that he believed it was respectful to the membership to make sure that you show up to these debates and you make sure that you talk directly to members. Interesting as well, Jen, one of his comments, Charest, on his opening statement, talking about leadership and talking about the Conservative Party and the failings of the past, basically calling the Conservative Party the most generous political party in the world because, in his words, they had handed the Liberals the last two elections, saying that they did not fail to win them, but instead handed them to the Liberals and didn't do a lot to try and win them, or didn't do a lot to try and prevent the Liberals from winning the election. So a little bit of sort of introspection there by the former Quebec Premier, Jean Charest. But at the same time, you did have, as you'd mentioned, Leslyn Lewis and Pierre Poilievre not there, doing their own campaign events instead. Leslyn Lewis in Prince Edward Island, and you had Pierre Poilievre in Regina, and he did talk about what was going on at the same time as he was having his rally. Have a listen to how he essentially mocked the debate.
I'm told that I could have, instead of being here with all of you in Saskatchewan, I could have been cooped up in a little hotel room around a small table, listening to a defeated Liberal premier drone on about his latest carbon tax idea. And I don't know if you've seen the picture of this thing they're putting on. It looks like they're playing a little game of cards, except there are no cards. I'd rather be out here talking to real people.
Now, the barbs were going back and forth because you had Jean Charest's team tweet out a picture of Pierre Poilievre and saying, "Where are you, bro?" So clearly the two of them were sparring without really saying each other's names there. But Poilievre, just correct him for a second, it wasn't an Ottawa hotel room. It was a little photo/video studio with an emphasis on the little.
Yes,
Jen?
Well, and we just have a little bit of time, less than a minute, Mike, to talk about how Jean Charest was asked about his future as well and whether or not he'll run for the Conservatives if he does lose the leadership race.
Yeah, because that all came up during the question of leadership and how Charest was basically saying that to unite this party, that you have to stick around, you have to show up. But Scott Aitchison asked him a number of times whether or not he will stick around after this, whether or not if he loses the leadership, he will stick around. Let's go to this clip here where he was asked by the media afterwards, and this is what Charest had to say.
These questions come up in every leadership race. We're like boxers at the end of our match. I mean, we're in the 12th round, and you know, we're interrupted to say, well, what will you do if you don't? The fact of the matter is, I'm focused on one single objective that I am going to meet, and that's becoming leader of the party and then Prime Minister of Canada, period.
So if you lose, would you support Mr. Poilievre?
There's only one scenario possible. I will become the leader of the party. Thank you.
And let's keep him honest here, right, Jen? There is another possible scenario, not just him winning the leadership, but that he loses the leadership, and he's still not answering that question, what he'll do if he loses.
We shall see. Senior political correspondent for CTV News Channel, Mike Couteur. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Jen.